Motor One has spied the next generation Toyota RAV4, which is going to be one of Toyota's most important vehicles for 2026. And we're going to talk about this design because they've made some very nice looking renderings. They look great. I think they're... If the next RAV4 looked like these renderings, I would not have a problem with it one bit. But I'm going to also let you know why the real RAV4 is not going to look like the renderings. And I can tell you that for a fact because we go into detail of the spy photos. You're going to see what I'm talking about. It's going to look a little bit different, less like this and more in line with the new Camry and the new Yaris. No, not the Yaris. The new Prius as well, with the front end, sort of that wing that you have cutting into the C shape in the front end. That is the face that the next RAV4 is going to have. Before we jump in and have a look at that in Photoshop, let's check out this article from Motor One. I'm going to link all this. You can go and check out the photos yourself. In this article, link down below. So 2026 Toyota RAV4, everything we know. Toyota is updating its best-selling SUV for the new year. Here's what to expect. So the 5th generation RAV4 is getting up there in age. It's been around since 2019. It honestly feels like it's been around for longer than that, to be honest, because you see so many of them in every street corner. I mean, they've sold 350,000 units the first 9 months of the year. I'm not sure which first 9 months of the year they're talking about because we're only in April right now, and this article was just written today. So I guess the previous, let's just say they sold 350,000 units the previous 9 months up until today, which is incredible numbers. I mean, just insane numbers, and that means that Toyota cannot just go out and do something radical and crazy with the next generation RAV4. They have to keep it pretty conservative if they want to keep these numbers up. Similar to what they did with, I think they did a great job with the Tacoma, the refreshed one. So the platform is also the same platform that underpins the updated Camry and will likely receive an evolutionary update. We expect the company to borrow styling cues from other recent models as it freshens the RAV4's design, revamps its technology, and switches to hybrid-only powertrains. So no more gas-only engines, and I'm not sure what to think of that. I love Toyota's hybrids, specifically the plug-in hybrids. I think they're great because you get this. You can just come home and plug in the garage with a two 40 volt, right? 220 volt charger. You can charge it overnight, and you have 40 miles of range in the morning. I think it's just a great idea. I really like the plug-in hybrids that we have today from a lot of manufacturers. Specifically, of course, I had the Volvo V60 Recharge, and it blew my mind. 455 horsepower, wagon form, extremely fast. I just plugged it in every single night and I had a full charge in the morning. What a vehicle that was. Sorry about that, it went off track there because I just love the Volvo so much. So no more gas powered here for the next generation RAV4. I don't know what Rosie thinks of that. Rosie, do you want gas powered RAV4 or are you okay with plug-in only? I'm not sure what that means. I think she's saying plug-in or hybrids only. Is that right? All right, I'm gonna convey that to Toyota. So cleaner lines on the side profile show a belt line that runs straight from the A-pillar all the way to the rear of the vehicle. And then you have this upswing in the D-pillar. You have trim near the top of the D-pillar suggests a two-tone roof option will continue for the new model, which is great. I think it looks cool. While the rear hatch looks more upright, should give you more cargo space. And here you can see the photos, the renderings. We're going to go into detail of these in just a minute in Photoshop, as I talked about, and let you know why the real RAV4 is not going to look like this rendering right here, specifically not when it comes to the headlight designs. So our renderings predict here, the Motor One renderings predict that Toyota will apply the boxier-looking Tacoma and Sequoia styling to the next generation crossover while removing some of the gaudy cladding. I'm okay with that. Just remove some of the cladding, that's fine with me. Make it a little bit more sporty. And you have a larger grille as well with an upright front fascia flanked by high slim headlights. The boxier style carries over to the rear too, where slim taillights wrap around the quarter panel and into the fender. It has a much more traditional design than the current crossover. I love to hear it. I want to go back to more traditional designs in general when it comes to the car design industry across the entire, all the brands, and I want them to focus more on clean proportions and very strong graphics to build up the identity of the brand. That has always been my philosophy, to have, the proportions needs to be segmented into different packages. So we have sedan, crossover, SUV, convertible, coupe. I don't want them to be too much mixed up with each other, if that makes sense. Well, that is what we have now. We have all these weird looking proportions. I want to keep it very clean, and I want to have companies focus on the key graphics. One company that does this very, very well right now is Genesis. I think they should be a sort of a high bar when it comes to proportions, and also being able to work with key graphics to create this identity. And they've done that in the last just 5 years, managed to totally revamp the entire DNA for the company. And you also on the inside here on the new RAV4, you have a large central screen, a digital instrument display, and plenty of physical buttons. So physical buttons coming back for Toyota as well. I love to see it. It should have a redesigned center console as well, obviously. So Toyota already offers a RAV4 hybrid, which should become the new entry model for 2026, and that has a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine with a rear-mounted electric motor. Then you have the RAV4 plug-in hybrid as well, and it uses an enhanced version of the 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine, but Toyota pairs it with 2 electric motors instead of 1, and you have 302 horsepower in the RAV4. That's 0 in 5.5 seconds. Pretty good numbers, and on top of that, you got 42 miles of electric range only. That is my personal favorite RAV4 trim level right now. They do have this off-road version as well, so we don't believe Toyota will increase the starting price by much, because that would push away some of the buyers that they have right now. The starting price today is $30,245, which I think is a great price. The next generation should arrive with a price tag in the low $30,000 range. So with that said, let's check out the some of the spy photos here, because there's one thing I want to show you that we're gonna look at in detail in Photoshop in a second here. You can see, is this Chris Hemsworth driving this? It looks like it. Thor sitting behind the wheel here, looking very angry. If I can stop, it just scrolls by itself. I don't know what to do. I'm not touching anything. All right, let's go back one. Here we go. Okay, can we stop on this image for a second, please? All right, so looking at the front end here we can sort of see that we have these Camry and Prius like headlights. So it's not gonna be like we have in the rendering. And it looks like we also gonna have a black bar here in the middle with a pretty covered up grille. I think the grille is going to be way less pronounced than what we have today, and we also have some plastic intakes or cladding right here on the side. You can see it more clearly if we go into a close-up. So now looking at the rear end, we can't really see much. We can see that the taillights sit in this area right here, and that we have a clear bumper at the lower section. I love to see that. We also have this roof spoiler up top being pretty substantial to me. It looks very pronounced. And we also have this cut line here, meaning that we're probably going to have this two-tone roof up top. Looking very cool. You can go into a detail here and see this line right here. You see this trim piece. This is probably going to be the trim piece that separates the black roof with the body color in the lower section. And this is, I guess, would be the outline for the taillight. So it looks like it stops here. You have the reverse light in this area and then goes up into this triangular piece, almost like a Nissan Rogue design. It reminds me a lot of the Nissan Rogue when I look at it like this. I think the previous generation Rogue, maybe it is a current one, not entirely sure. But I wanted to show you a detail of the front end design as well, because that is the one where you can clearly see, this one right here, we can clearly see how the housing for the headlight unit and the design elements for the lighting is just designed here. You can see that we have clearly the daytime running lights going right here into this piece. We have the indicator or daytime running light right here as well, and it stretches up all the way to this area in the corner up here, and then you have the main headlights thankfully sitting within these two lines of LEDs, and it looks like we have a black trim piece going right here in the middle as well, with the grille looking pretty covered up here. It doesn't feel like it has a lot of framing to it. We have an opening down here as well. You can see that this area we have an outline for a trim piece. This is probably going to be the fog light, if they have a fog light here, or maybe some functional air curtains on the side in this area, and then we have the bumper all the way down here at the bottom. So definitely going to have this C shape that we have on the Camry and the Prius. 100% that is going to be in the production version of the Camry. So with that said, let's jump into Photoshop here, and as I said, you can see all these photos and images on Motor One. I'm going to link everything down below so you can go and check this out in detail for yourself if you want to analyze this as a design. But looking at the rendering here, this is, as I said, this is a great rendering. I really like what they did with the design here. It looks super clean, and I would not be opposed to having a design like this for the next RAV4. But the thing is, we can't just ignore the facts. And if we look at the spy photos themselves, you can see that we don't have anything near what we have here, specifically for the headlight unit design here. So if we look at the headlight unit on the spy photos, you can clearly see that we have this C-shaped design going right here into this area and then being cut off here into this, and then we have the main headlight unit sitting in this area, and this is what the headlight unit is going to look like for the new RAV4. There's just no mistaking this for anything else. And you also have this black trim piece, probably going to be a black trim piece right here in the middle, depending on what trim you have for your RAV4, and we go into the same area design, of course, on the other side of the vehicle. Now, looking at the grille itself, I'm having a very hard time figuring out how the grille is designed in this case, because you can see the openings here. We also have openings down here at the bottom with this plastic trim piece that goes something like this. I'm not entirely sure because it's not, as you can see, very easy to see in the camo that goes on here, but you can see that this is not going to look anywhere like the rendering here, even though it is a very cool looking rendering. Now, looking at the taillights, I don't think it's going to look like this either from the rendering of Motor 1, because this is too much like the Sequoia. It's like a shrunken down Sequoia. Not a bad design at all. It looks very tight and very boxy, which I like, almost a little bit more traditional than what we have today. But looking at the taillight design here, and this is what I said, it reminds me of a Rogue, because we have the almost exact same outline as a Nissan Rogue, in my opinion. And the taillights, I can't really tell where the taillights end, if they end right here or go down something like this. I'm not entirely sure, but this is probably what the outline for the taillights of the new RAV4 is going to look like. Pretty similar to this. Then we have this nice bumper separation here as well. Looks like we have some angles going upwards here, creating this angle for the or the defining line for the bumper, which I think is great to see. And we have a much more upright rear end as well, which is of course going to give you more cargo space for this vehicle. Now, the shoulder line looks pretty cool. We have one single shoulder line right here, looks like, and we also have this upswing in the D-pillar for the greenhouse, looking pretty tight. It feels like a very boxy design, and I like to see that. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what this actually looks like whenever they reveal it. It's going to go on sale 2026, so it's probably going to be within a couple of months.